On that hot story tonight and on the latest on the coming Mueller testimony, I'm joined now by Senator Lindsey Graham, chairman of the Judiciary Committee. Chairman, good to see you tonight. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So I want to get first your response to this blame pointing over this tragic photo and what it tells you about where we are in this battle.
Well, one, it's disgusting. This is not the president's fault. People from Central America are being enticed to come here in record numbers. We've doubled the number of people have come this year versus last at this stage of last year, and we're going to double that again. We're going to spend $4-point-something billion to deal with the humanitarian crisis. If you don't change the laws, they'll keep coming. I hate it very much that this father and daughter died, but they should stay in their country. We should help them in their country. This journey they're taking is very dangerous. So to my Democratic colleagues, if we don't change our law, you're going to have millions of people overrunning our border. And what are you going to do about that?
Yeah, we're going to talk more about it tonight, and you know, everybody's waiting for Congress to come up with some kind of solution. It's been decades. I mean, and as you can tell, the frustration that I hear in your voice, and we heard it today on the Hill, and these people are pawns, sadly, in this political. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's our law. If you get 1 foot in the United States, you claim asylum, you're entitled to a hearing. The hearing's like 3 years away. People don't show up. If you bring a small child, we can only hold a child for 20 days. We don't want to separate families, so we let the entire family unit go. Word is out on the street in Central America, if you bring a small child to the United States and ask for asylum, you're never going to be sent back. You stay in America forever. Until we change that law, nothing changes.
And it leads to some of the tragedies that we're seeing, because people feel that it's going to work, and it entices them, as you say. I want to talk to you about the Mueller testimony that's coming up on July 17th. I thought he was pretty emphatic when he said, you know, my testimony is this report. Then Jerome Nadler kept coming out and saying, you know, no, he's going to show up. He's going to testify. So I'm curious what you think transpired. What do you think motivated Robert Mueller to accept what is, by their own description, a friendly subpoena, an agreement to come?
Really, I don't know, but I do know this. If he stays within the four corners of the document, what good is his testimony? If he goes outside the document, he's going to get killed politically, because then he becomes a political commentator. So if he does what he said he would do in his press conference, refer back to the document, this is just a political circus. This is not about trying to find the truth. This is about setting up impeachment of President Trump. The biggest loser of Mueller coming into the House, I think, is Nancy Pelosi, because it's going to be harder for her to control her troops after Mueller testifies.
You know, I mean, I'm wondering about his staff, because they obviously were very disgruntled with Bill Barr's assessment, and, you know, sort of perhaps nudged their leader to, you know, get out there and speak up on their behalf. Do you think that is part of what's at work here? Because we're hearing reports about how they're writing books now, and many of them are trying to, you know, land some big jobs with law firms on the, you know, with this at the top of their resume, that they worked with the special counsel.
I don't know what motivates Mr. Mueller to come in. Maybe it's a subpoena, maybe he wants to come in, but I know this. He told the country that he would confine his comments to the document. The document speaks for itself. I hope that's what he does, because if he does any more than that, it's going to become a political circus. And the president asked a really good question. When does this end? Mr. President, this ends with your re-election. Once you win in 2020, this ends. But between now and then, they're going to do everything they can to undermine your presidency. They're going to retry the Mueller case. When Mueller issued his report, that was it for me. I don't trust Jerry Nadler to find the truth. I did trust Mueller. Mueller has spoken, but it's really not about finding the truth. It's about destroying Donald Trump's presidency. This is going to blow up in their face.
The president had a long conversation with Maria Bartiromo this morning, and he made a comment that raised some eyebrows, just in terms of understanding what exactly he was talking about. And I want to play it for you, and maybe you can explain it.
Robert Mueller, they worked for him, and the two lovers were together, and they had texts back and forth.
Well, how come we haven't seen it all? I mean, you gave William Barr the authority
to terminated them illegally. He terminated the emails. He terminated all of the stuff between Strzok and Page.
That was something that I had never heard before, that Robert Mueller terminated these emails, destroyed them in some way. What happened? What's your understanding of that?
Well, it's my basic understanding that Peter Strzok turned his cell phone over to his employer, and somehow the information got erased I don't know how that happened. That will be a good question. But the president's frustrated about Strzok and Page and McCabe and Comey. And here's what I tell the president. Mr. Horowitz is going to give a report soon about whether or not the FISA court was defrauded. And I promised the president we're going to get to the bottom of what happened. I'm not going to get in the way of Mr. Durham. Mr. Durham is a U.S. attorney looking at the criminality. Did somebody violate the law when it came to the counterintelligence investigation of the FISA warrant? But my job is to lay out the truth the best I can. Mueller has spoken about Trump. Now it's time to find out about those who investigated Trump.
Senator Lindsey Graham, thank you very much, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you.